Looking through magazines are also an excellent way to find ideas to tap into powerful niche markets. So here's a little method that you need to do. Now I have an online version of this method and an offline version, and I actually suggest that you do the offline version when you can, although I do realize that you might want to go to a website if you can't wait to go out into the real world. So what I would like you to do here is to go to your favorite bookstore and look at a magazine rack. The stores here that I go to are either called Borders or Barnes & Noble, or they're called Chapters in Canada. They have a store up there that my partner Robert, he likes to go to. And also just a regular supermarket or Walmart, they also have nice magazine racks. So what you do is just stand there and look at the magazine rack and look for what type of markets that the magazines are targeting. So you may see magazines devoted to different hobbies. You can see magazines devoted to different careers, magazines devoted to special interest groups, religious magazines. Almost on every topic you can think of, there's probably a magazine on it. Different collectors of coins and dolls and all kinds of things. And the reason why you want to look at magazines are it costs quite a bit of money to publish a magazine. There has to be a fairly large readership for a magazine. You know, they have to pay a whole staff to write articles, and they have to constantly produce new content, and they also sell advertising space in the magazines. So there needs to be a fair amount of interest in the world for a magazine to exist and make it to that place in the magazine rack. So what you're going to do is you're going to look on the magazine rack for ideas, and then possibly you'll be able to create a product in that market. Now, even if you don't know anything about that market, that's what the magazine's there for. So when you go to the bookstore, first you want to read the magazines, pick them up, look at the magazine, see what market it's targeting. You know, you also got to think about the people who are reading it, what are their interests. Obviously, if it's a magazine about getting married and wedding dresses and stuff like that, then it's expected brides, and there's also magazines devoted to all kinds of stuff. Also, in the magazines, not just the article content, because the article content will give you ideas for a product. Also, read the ads. People who advertise in those magazines are seeking out the audience who reads that magazine. So you may be looking at a book on coin collecting, and you'll see all kinds of ads for different coin collecting paraphernalia. So you may see a home study course for $295 on how to collect the best coins, or you might see a small book that people can buy for $29.95 that is a beginner's guide to coin collecting. You'll see all kinds of different things marketed inside of a magazine because the advertising space is valuable, and the publishers of the magazine sell ads to people who are advertising to that market. And that's really why magazines exist also, is they slap together some interesting articles on a certain topic, and then they sell advertising space. They also make money selling the magazine, but they make a lot of money selling the ads. So the ads, you can learn a lot from them. And if you can find a market that has multiple magazines in the same market, for stock and commodity trading, there's a few magazines, maybe 4 main ones that I know of. And for online gaming, there's probably, I don't know how many magazines there are because I'm not particularly interested in that, but I know there's probably several magazines on that. There's all kinds of magazines on hunting, fishing. So if you notice that there's like 4 or 5 magazines in a certain category, or even 3 magazines, then there's probably a fairly large base of people who are interested in that topic. And part of finding a targeted niche is just looking to see, are there enough people that are interested in a specific topic that you could create a product for and sell to in that market? I mean, you could develop a product that teaches 83-year-old grandmothers with illegitimate children how to pickle eggs, but you probably don't have that large of a market to sell to that specific person. So you want to have a niche that's targeted enough, because you could just sell a product that's general appeal for women, and you might have a hard time marketing because different women have different interests. Now, there are people who have successfully done it. I would say Martha Stewart and Oprah Winfrey have probably done both well to just kind of like a general women category. But the power of finding a targeted niche is you're finding a group of people with such a specific need in common and an interest in common that you create a unique product that they can only get from you. And you can charge them for that. So this is all about finding niches, and just looking at the magazine rack is a great place to find those niches. Now, if you want to do this online, well, we have magazines.com. So there's a few different places you can look in here. You can look at top titles, and you can see the different categories here. What I recommend, since you're just looking for ideas, you don't know what kind of magazine you're looking for, you just want to be exposed to a magazine that you never heard of and say, wow, that's a great niche market to get into. So you go to search by category. It'll tell you the categories of magazines that they have. So if you scroll down a little bit, you see all kinds of different categories that jump out. African American, animals and pets, antiques, art, audio and video. Literally, all kinds of stuff. Almost everything you can think of. So you go down, and let's just select golf, because that's a pretty hot thing right now. And you'll see all the different golf magazines. And you can look through these magazines. You can click on details. And you can get a little glimpse of the magazine. You see this magazine's called TNL Golf. Well, you can go find the website and you can learn more about that magazine. But I do suggest, after you go through magazines.com, you're going to get some ideas. You'll see what the magazines are targeted to. But it's not a replacement for going to the store, to the magazine rack, and actually looking through the magazines. Looking at the ads is probably more important than just seeing the cover of the magazine. So the articles can teach you a lot about what kind of content that the people in that market are interested in. You could literally read an article like 10 tips on how to get a better golf swing, and that article could inspire you to create an entire course that just goes more detail into those steps. So the articles give you ideas for content, but the ads, they give you ideas for entire courses, entire websites, entire businesses. So I say looking at the ads is really important. So the only way you can truly have that experience is just to go spend an hour or two at your favorite bookstore or magazine rack and just look through a bunch of stuff. If it's not a market you have any interest in, don't pick up the magazine. But if it looks like something that maybe you'd be interested, then pick up the magazine. There's also Business Opportunities magazine. So if you wanted to do a making money type of website, there's hundreds of ads in there to give you ideas. And every time I've done this, I've come up with notebook pages full of ideas. So just go there and start collecting your ideas, and we're going to show you soon how to evaluate those ideas on the internet and see if they're going to be a profitable hot niche or if they're something that's just not worth contributing your time to.